Pura, even before this. Eva, indeed, Pumsa, by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Avadritaha was certainly known. Dharajvaraha, the distress on the earth. Bhavadbihi, by your good selves. Amshaihi, expanding as plenary portions. Yadusho, in the family of King Yadu. Upajanyatam, take your birth and appear there. Saha, he, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yavat, as long as. Urvyaha, of the earth. Bharam, the burden. Ishvaraha, the Lord of Lords. Svakala Shaktiya, by his own potency, the time factor. Kshapayan, diminishing. Charet, should move. Bhuvi, on the surface of the earth. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaicharana Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Lord Brahma informed the demigods. Before we submitted our petition to the Lord, he was already aware of the distress on earth. Consequently, for as long as the Lord moves on earth to diminish its burden by his own potency in the form of time, all of you demigods should appear through plenary portions as sons and grandsons in the family of the Yadus. Can I repeat the translation? Lord Brahma informed the demigods before we submitted our petition to the Lord. He was already aware of the distress on earth. Consequently, for as long as the Lord moves on earth to diminish its burden by his own potency in the form of time, all of you demigods should appear through plenary portions as sons and grandsons in the family of the Yadus. Purport. As stated in Brahma Samhita 5.39, Ramadimurti Shukala Niyamena Tishtan Nanavataram Makarod Bhuvaneshu Kinto Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramapumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, who is always situated in various incarnations, such as Rama, Nrisimha, and many sub incarnations as well, but who is the original personality of Godhead, known as Krishna, and who incarnates personally also. In this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, we find the words Puraiva Pumsa Vatrito Dharajvara. The word Pumsa refers to Krishna, who was already aware of how the whole world was suffering because of the increase of demons. Without reference to the supreme power of the personality of Godhead, the demons assert themselves to be independent kings and presidents, and thus they create a disturbance by increasing their military power. When such disturbances are very prominent, Krishna appears. At present, also, various demonic states all over the world are increasing their military power in many ways, and the whole situation has become distressful. Therefore, Krishna has appeared by his name in the Hare Krishna movement, which will certainly diminish the burden of the world. Philosophers, religionists, and people in general must take to this movement very seriously. For man made plans and devices will not help bring peace on earth. The transcendental sound Hare Krishna is not different from the person Krishna. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinnatvan Nama Namino. There is no difference between the sound Hare Krishna and Krishna, the person. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport and translation to Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 22 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the significant point made in this verse by Lord Brahma is Puraiva Pumsa Avadrita Dharajvaraha. Dharajvaraha, the sufferings experienced by Mother Earth. Jvaraha refers to fever, means a distressful condition. So generally, Jvara means a distressful condition. Dhara means earth. Dhara Jvaraha means the distress experienced by Mother Earth, hmm, because of the increase in demoniac population or asuric population or increase of non-devotees in the world. So, uh, Puraiva Pumsa Avadritaha. Pura eva Avadritaha. Even before we could submit our petition, Lord Brahma is telling to the Devatas, even before I could submit the petition of on behalf of all the Devatas and Mother Earth, Pura, even before, indeed, certainly, Avadritaha, the Dharajvaraha, the distress of the earth was Avadritaha, certainly known to Pumsa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So that means the Lord always knows our condition. What exactly we are going through, the Lord is well aware even before you are aware. Interestingly, even before you know yourself, you know the situation, you have a plan, the Lord knows even before you. Similarly, the Lord also knows what you plan to do also, even before you plan and you execute. This is the position of God. Therefore, Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityaja in advance. Prabhupada explained this one place. Why? Because Krishna knows you are going to do something foolish. You're going to burn your fingers. You're going to suffer in this world by doing activities which are not conducive for liberation, conducive for your own welfare. Nate swartagatim hi vishnum dhurashaya ye bahirarthamaninaha. Even Prahlad Maharaj said, the conditioned soul does not know what is good for him. And he acts and does hoping it will bring in happiness while it only brings misery and suffering. Therefore, Krishna said, you better surrender unto me and I will save you from all sinful reactions. So Krishna has given a promise in advance, a precaution. So Krishna is so kind. He knows that I'm going to do something nonsense, something bad for me. So Krishna is trying to avoid that by requesting surrender. Although the request is made in the form of a demand. Why demand? Because the Krishna, just like a mother may tell a child, don't touch fire. The child listens, the child is safe. Mother is also relieved from anxiety. But if the child does not listen, the mother is put into anxiety. So the mother may have to forcefully stop the child sometimes and demand the child to follow the mother's advice. The mother may sometimes demand, you must follow this because it is for the child's own good. Otherwise, if the child touches the fire, it will burn the child. Like that, sometimes the Lord makes a demand because non devotees accuse the Lord, criticize the Lord. Why is the Lord making this demand? It is left up to me to follow or not. Why is the Lord making a demand? Of course, the Lord also gives the choice to us. Yatha ichchasi tatha kuru. That also Krishna says. Till Krishna also demands surrender. Looks contradictory, right? Yeah, Krishna Malana. There's no contradiction. Krishna ultimately gives you the freedom to do what you want, but Krishna also demands surrender for our good. Like the mother telling, don't touch fire to the small child. The child doesn't realize, doesn't understand. Or the parents give good advice, good counsel to the children, to their dependents. Don't do something so bad that you will finally land up in jail. And sometimes the parents may be little heavy on these statements. That is for the love. So the Lord is aware of our position in this world. This is what Brahma is telling the Devatas. And the Lord is very prompt in relieving the distress of the jivas in this world because all the jivas in this world, whether asuras or suras, devotees or non-devotees, are very dear to the Lord because they are all the Lord's own children. So Lord has extreme affection for the jivas in this world. So therefore, in so many ways, the Lord is trying to somehow get back the living entity to the spiritual world, to the kingdom of God, to his own kingdom. The entire Bhagavad Gita is an attempt to this end, to this purpose. So much Krishna spoke, but the essence is this much. My dear Jiva, kindly take my word, come back to me, and you'll be relieved from all kinds of unnecessary suffering you are going through in this world. Just take my shelter, be with me. That's all. This is the simple message of the Gita. It may be in Sanskrit, there may be some technical terms. Apart from all that, the simple essence is this: please come back to me. You will be safe. That's all. Just like Prabhupada explains in one lecture, hmm, there may be a small child, and suppose there is a thief or a bad person in front of the child. The child may challenge that bad person or the thief because the child is confident that his father is standing next to him. So if that bad person does something to him, he knows, he's very confident my father will take him to task. So, like that, when exactly like this, when we are under the shelter of the Supreme Father, Supreme Shelter, Ultimate Shelter, Krishna, there is nothing to fear in all the three worlds. Krishna is giving this assurance throughout the Bhagavad Gita. Just depend on me, become my devotee, surrender unto me, take my shelter, take my advice. You'll be free from all fear, all danger, all calamity. So many ways in means Krishna is explaining these things throughout Bhagavad Gita. So coming to this point, how Krishna already knows and also has a solution. So Krishna knows the problem is one thing, but Krishna also has a solution. Knowing problem is one thing. Even you may know the problem. What about the solution? So Krishna also knows our problem. Krishna also has a solution immediately. We will take some 5 examples to know about this. The first example, This is also to show Krishna's extreme kindness and concern he has towards the jivas in this world, which he exhibits through his leelas. So the first example is knowing in advance that Maharaja Ambarish will be put to future trouble from Durvasa Muni. Lord Krishna left his Sudarshan Chakra in Ambarish Maharaja's palace before itself, so that it can save him. Hmm? You know, Durvasa Muni wanted to kill Ambarish Maharaj out of envy, and he plucked out a bunch of hair from his head and produced a demon from the bunch of hair by his misuse of Yoga Shakti or mystic power. And that demon marched towards Maharaja Ambarish. And Maharaja Ambarish didn't run away from that place. Sudarshan Chakra rather started chasing Durvasa. And Durvasa was on his heels. He was running pillar to post up to Kailasa, even Mahavishnu Loka. But Mahavishnu also didn't pardon him. He said, "You have to go back to my devotee. He has to pardon you. You have offended him unnecessarily out of envy." Of course, the devotee is always very kind. Ambarish Maharaj offers nice prayers to Sudarshana Chakra. It's a beautiful chapter in the Bhagavatam 9th canto, glorifying Sudarshana, the disc of Lord Krishna. And Sudarshana being, although he's very hot, he became very cool and pacified by the devotional prayers of Maharaja Ambarish, and he withdrew his attack on Durvasa Muni. So Krishna had left that Sudarshana in advance. Then we know in the story of this example too, the story of Ajamila, how he became very sinful at a certain part of his life. But he was saved. Although Yamadutas came to drag him to Yamalok, to put him into all kinds of suffering, even without seeking, Ajamila, even without seeking, Vishnudutas voluntarily came to save Ajamila. You can see the safe condition of the devotees in this world. Even if you don't pray, you are protected. If you are a devotee, even if you don't pray, you are protected. Just because you are a devotee. Forget Vishnu. Vishnudutas are so alert. The devotees of Vishnu are so alert. Vishnudutas came. Even Vishnu didn't indicate, "Please go and protect my devotee." Vishnudutas themselves acted immediately. And they came down to protect the devotee of Vishnu. Second example. Third, we know Prahlad Maharaj, also a similar such case. Although he was put into so many troubles by his own father, who was demoniac, he didn't pray for protection. He didn't seek any protection. Prahlad Maharaj, you see all his prayers, nowhere it says, "My Lord, please protect me. I'm in danger." Nowhere such prayer is there. Yet, the Lord personally took all the trouble to protect him. Similarly, Haridas Thakur was beaten in 22 marketplaces. This is example 4. Haridas Thakur was beaten in 22 marketplaces. The only mistake and offense he did is he is a devotee. How can being a devotee be an offense and a mistake? This material world is strange. Sometimes it is like that. Being a devotee is a problem in this world. Chanting Hare Krishna is a big problem in this world for the non-devotees. Even though devotees don't put anybody into trouble, but still they feel troubled. Unfortunately, they feel like that. So Haridas Thakur, he is not after name, fame, and recognition, but somehow When you become a devotee, name and fame follows the devotee. And this creates envy in others. So the caste Brahmins, they became envious of Haridas Thakur because he was becoming uh, exceedingly famous. And they became very envious. So they lodged a complaint to the Qazi, magistrate of the Bengal government 5 centuries back. The actual incident which happened in Bengal. And you can just imagine, finally it was decided that he should be killed. So then he was ordered to be beaten in 22 marketplaces. And yet Haridas Thakur constantly only chanted Hare Krishna, which means glorifying the Lord, but never he prayed for personal safetyness and protection. Because the devotee does not want to take any favor from the Lord, including protection. Why should I trouble the Lord in seeking protection? Yet the Lord is always alert and attentive. Hmm? Haridas Thakur didn't die. Then uh, the guards who came on behalf of the magistrate or the king of Bengal to beat Haridas Thakur, they got scared. He's not dying. They were whipping him black and blue. He was not dying. They got scared. Finally, they made a statement, better you die, otherwise we will die in the king's hands. So for that sake, Haridas Thakur put up a show of dying. Actually went to Samadhi. He went to Samadhi and then they thought, oh, he's dead. They threw him into the river. So they went and reported to the king, Haridas Thakur is dead. They were relieved. But actually he was in Samadhi. Anyway, the point is how he never prayed for protection. Yet the Lord is kind enough to offer all protection. Then we have the instance of Pandavas, famous instance. Krishna had arranged Vidura to appear in the family of the Kuru dynasty as a mark of protection for the Pandavas. Because Pandavas also, they're also very strange devotees. They never pray for anything from the Lord. Throughout their life, they were put into series of dangers. There's a beautiful verse recollected by Kunti Devi in Bhagavatam 8th canto, first canto 8th chapter. Vishan Mahagne Purushada Darshanat. In that verse, a series of dangers. But still, they never sought any protection from the Lord. Yet the Lord arranged Vidura and many such ways and means to protect his devotees. Krishna wants to protect his devotees. How can he let the devotees be put into trouble? For that matter, Krishna has a plan to protect everyone, including non devotees. Because after all, they're all his children. But Krishna protects in two different ways. Krishna's personal protection can be felt by the devotees. Krishna's indirect protection is through Kala. Krishna has a plan for every jiva under different circumstances to make them surrender and take them back home, back to God. Krishna has a plan. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshu astina priyaha. The Lord is equal to every jiva. He's, he has nobody who's very dear or nobody who is an object of envy. Because he is the father to both the demigods and the demons, devotees and the non-devotees. So he has a plan for everyone to take care. Only difference is the devotee accepts the plan of the Lord, but the non-devotee does not accept the plan of the Lord. The devotee is assured of protection from the Lord, but the non-devotee is always placed in a state of fear. What will happen? What will happen? What will happen? I should take control of the situation. I should take care of myself. I should take care of my family myself. I should take care of my finance, my health, my business, my country. So he uh, takes responsibility upon himself. And this is called ahankara. But the devotee is assured of the Lord's protection and waits for the Lord's direction. Just like Brahma here, he was waiting for the Lord's direction. The moment he got the direction, he told the Devatas to execute it immediately without hesitation. So, uh, so having full faith, we should simply execute our duties in Krishna consciousness. But to develop this faith called transcendental faith takes lifetimes. Not easy to have faith, absolute faith on the Lord's words. That's why the devotees in Bhagavatam are glorified for their absolute faith on Krishna. Absolute faith on Krishna. The Bali Maharaj, so much trouble he was put in. He was finished also, actually. Not even to the point of getting finished also. Lord only finished him. Yet he has complete faith on the Lord. Even in the Lord's putting me in trouble, there is great hope, great safetiness. He sees shelter, protection, even in the Lord's chastisement, punishment. We all know Lord Vamandev took away all the land of Bali Maharaj, and not being enough, he pushed Bali Maharaj to the lower planetary system with his foot. Still, Bali Maharaj is not agitated, not agitated, not disturbed, nor bewildered. So, this is a symptom of a devotee. Even in the extreme difficult situations, he is not bewildered. His devotion to Krishna is fixed. It's described by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, second chapter. This is called Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, fixed up on the lotus feet of Krishna, even in the most bewildering conditions. Because he is assured of Krishna's plan for him, Krishna's protection, Krishna's kindness, even in that punishment. Bali Maharaj himself makes this statement in the 8th canto. My Lord, you are equally sweet in blessing a devotee or even punishing a devotee. You have acted, he actually says the word, you have acted wonderfully. You act wonderfully either in blessing the devotee or even in punishing the devotee. You act wonderfully. So the devotee knows that there is kindness, mercy, compassion, a great plan even behind Lord's punishment. So he is not at all disturbed because I am under the Lord's shelter. Why should I be disturbed? That I am put into um, a distressful condition. Who knows? That may be a better position, and that we know from Bhagavatam. Although he was pushed to the lower planetary system, Bali Maharaj didn't know about that. Where he is landing up does not matter. Apparently, materially, he may be landing in the worst condition. Actually, he was pushed to hellish planet. He was prepared, he was ready, completely comfortable and composed. But we know the outcome from the Bhagavatam, later verses in the Bhagavatam, actually was pushed to a planet called Sutala Loka, which is considered to be as opulent as Indraloka. See how the Lord has safely moved him to a better position. Further, to enhance Bali Maharaj's glory, he became the guard or the gatekeeper of Bali Maharaj's kingdom in Sutala Loka. How much more can the Lord act wonderfully? You can just imagine, right? So, Lord has shown his extreme uh, concern for the devotee in his leelas like this. Similarly, we see the Mahabharata itself. Arjuna was put into so much trouble. Hmm. The whole Pandavas were put into so much trouble because of their cousin brothers, the Kauravas. Apart from usurping the property and the kingdom power, snatching the power, these things are fine. There were so many uh, more serious threats which they have to experience. Draupadi was disrobed, or rather attempted to be disrobed. What a uh, unbearable suffering for a chaste woman in an assembly of many apparently great persons. For a woman to lose her chastity, her honor, is actually very unbecoming and impossible to tolerate. Yet she tolerated. Hmm. And she was protected also by Krishna. Promptly protected by being supplied unlimited sari by Lord Krishna, who came all the way from Dwaraka just for his devotee, Mother Draupadi. Hmm. So, whichever corner of the world you are, the Lord will spot you and offer all protection. Wherever He is, wherever you are, the protection will reach on time, just in time, or even before in time, as per the Lord's calculation. We can't conceive these things. We just have to have faith. This is called Avashye Rakshibe Krishna. Avashye Rakshibe Krishna. Avashye means when. Avashya means necessarily, without fail. Rakshibe Krishna, you will receive protection from the Lord by his own plan and calculation. Only difference is confidential devotees might know the plan of the Lord, but we may not know the plan of the Lord. Does not matter, but we should develop that faith on Krishna, that Krishna never fails under any circumstance for his protection to his devotee. In fact, in every chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has given this assurance. Every chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, many, many verses. Maybe quickly we will try to rush through. In the first chapter, text number 19, by use of the word Sagosho Dashtranam Hridayani Vedarayat. In this verse, it is indicated how uh, uh, Krishna has given assurance to the Pandavas there's nothing to fear. When the Pandavas blew their conch shell, it shattered the hearts of the Kaurava kings and the army. The Pandavas, they and their army were not shattered when Kauravas blew their conch shell. This is an indication of Krishna's assurance of victory of the Pandavas. Chapter number 2, uh, text 15, Krishna says, Samadukka Sukham Dhiram So Amritatvaya Kalpate. Krishna says that one who's fixed or equipoised in happiness and distress in this world, he becomes an eligible candidate for liberation. I will offer him liberation. Chapter number 3, text 9. Krishna says, Yagnatat karmano anyatra mukta sangha samachara. You just engage in devotional service and offer everything as a sacrifice unto me. I will assure you from all reactions of material activities. Mukta sangha samachara. Then again, third chapter, Krishna said, Yagna Sishta Asinas Santa, Muchyante Sarvakil Vishaye. I will free you from all sinful reactions. Muchyante Sarvakil Visha. All sins. Just partake my prasadam always. Then chapter number 4, Krishna says, I'm just taking few references. There are many, many more if you browse through. I'm just taking one verse from each chapter. Krishna is saying, just by knowing my birth and activities and its spiritual and transcendental nature, Janma karma chame divyam. Krishna says, Tyaktva deham punarjanmana. Such a person, when he gives up his body, he will not return to this world. I assure that. Like this, so many assurances. Chapter number 5, text. Hmm. In the text, Kama Krodha Vimuktanam Yatinam Yatachetasam Abhito Brahma Nirvanam Vartate Viditatmanam. Krishna is saying that being freed from Kama and Krodha, the saintly persons Yatina, having Yatachetasam, full control over their mind, uh, Vartate Abhito Brahma Nirvanam. Abhita means assured. Brahma Nirvanam, state of liberation. Vartate Viditatmana. They're very soon going to attain the state of liberation in the very near future. Then uh, the famous verse from the 5th chapter, text 29. Bhoktaram yagna tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram surdam sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shantim richati. He is assured of peace for one who knows three things about me: that I am the supreme enjoyer of all the sacrifices and all the worship you offer to me, and one who knows I am the supreme master of all the worlds, including all the devatas, and one who knows that I am the supreme well wishing friend. These three things, if you know, peace is rest assured in this world of calamity. Then, chapter 6, text 22 and 23. A very famous reference. Yasmin sthito na dukkena gurunapi vichalyate tam vidya dukkha samyogad viyogam yoga samgnite. Krishna says, when you become fully Krishna conscious, you're always in my remembrance. That is called the state of samadhi, actually. Samadhi means complete absorption in the thought of Krishna or in the service of Krishna. That is also samadhi. So when one is in full Krishna consciousness, then yasmin sthitaha, if it's situated in this state, na dukkena gurunapi vichalyate, even in the greatest of calamities. Gurunapi means very big. Gurunapi vichalyate means something which is extremely disturbing situations. Na dukkena, he is not disturbed. Then chapter number 7, Krishna says, Jara Marana Mokshaya Mam Ashtitya Yatanti Ye. Jara Marana Mokshaya. The greatest fear is Jara and Marana, old age and death. Mokshaya, Krishna saying, I will give you freedom from that fear. Mam Ashtitya Yatanti Te, if you take shelter of me. That's chapter 7, text 29. Then 8th chapter. Naite Sriti Parthajanan Yogi Mukhyati Kaschana. Krishna is saying there are two paths of passing away from this world. One in dark, one in light. That's for the normal people. Krishna is saying that if you leave your body during the daytime and many other conditions, then you may reach Swarga or a desirable destination as per your choice, even liberation out of this world. But if you die on the night and many other conditions, then you are certain to return back to this earth. But Krishna says the devotees know both these paths. Naite Sriti Partha Janan Yogi Mukhyati Kaschana Na Mukhyati Kaschana Yogi, my devotee. Krishna is saying Arjuna, because Arjuna is also devotee. Yogi, referring to Arjuna, referring to a devotee. Na Mukhyati Kaschana, at any point of time, he does not fear. Because he knows that his path back to Godhead is guaranteed. So devotee does not have to bother what time he dies. Punya Kala, Rahu Kala, Gulika Kala, Yamaganda. No such botheration for the devotee. His path back to Godhead is guaranteed and assured. Then chapter 9, the famous verse, Man Manabhava Mad Bhakto Mam Eva Eshyasi Yuktvavam Atmanam Mat Parayanaha. See, Krishna has indicated this point there. Mat Parayana. You are very dear to me. So, like Arjuna, every jiva is very dear to Krishna. Therefore, Krishna is assuring, Mam Eshyasi, you will certainly come back to me. Just become my devotee. Then, chapter 10, Yomam Ajam Anadim Cha Veti Loka Maheshwaram And Krishna goes on, Sarva papai pramuchyate. This verse number 3 in the very opening, Krishna is saying, Yomam ajam anadimcha veti. One who knows three things here again. One who knows me as ajam, unborn, anadim, as no origin, Lokameshwaram, the master of all the worlds. Even just know this. That's all. Sarva papai pramuchate. I will deliver you from all sinful reactions, which are very dangerous and disturbing. Chapter 11, in text 33, Krishna says, Tasmatvam uttishta yasho labasva, jitva shatrun bhungshva rajyam samriddham, mayaiva nihita purvameva. The same word is used there, puraiva. Purvameva. Krishna is saying, Arjuna, just get up and fight. Don't worry about the consequences, about sin, about going to hell, about they will die, what will happen to the people, what will happen to the families, what will happen to Varna Sankara population. Don't worry about any of those things. Everything is planned by me, and rest assured, everything will go fine. Krishna is saying that this battle is arranged by me. Victory is also arranged by me for you. Mayai vaite nihita purvameva. Before itself, I have arranged victory for you. Before itself, I had planned the battle of Kurukshetra. Before itself, I had planned Yudhishthira become the king. So just get up and fight and take your credit. Nimitta matram bhava savesachi. Like that. So much assurance Krishna is giving. You will not go to hell. You will rather jitva shatrun. You will win over your enemy. Jitva shatrun. And bhungshva rajam samridham. While living, you will also enjoy a flourishing kingdom. So why are you hesitating, Arjuna? In chapter 12, Tesham aham samuddartha mrityu samsara sagarat. Krishna saying, I am the swift deliverer of all the jivas from the cycle of birth and death for those who become my devotee. Krishna is saying, a swift deliverer. Very fast Krishna is. Then chapter 13, Yo evam veti purusham prakritim cha gunai saha nasabhuyo abhijayate. One who understands how this material world is operating, material nature is operating. One who understands about material nature, the jiva, and the interaction of the three modes is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth again, irrespective of his material condition in this world. Chapter 14. Sagunan samiti tyatan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Krishna saying, just engage in devotional service. Immediately you will overcome all anxieties, sufferings, challenges, problems, and come to spiritual platform. Chapter 15, text 6. Yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Krishna is describing about his abode, Vaikuntha, on Goloka. Is saying, if you come back there, na nivartante, you will not come back to this world of misery. Do not worry. That world is mine. Chapter 16, Daivi Sampad Vimokshaya Nibandaya Surimata Mashucha Sampadam Daivim Abhijato Asi Pandava. Arjuna, you are endowed with divine qualities. Therefore, you are on the path of liberation. Divine qualities are conducive for liberation. Demonic qualities are conducive to marching to hellish planet. But you are blessed with divine qualities. Don't worry. Your path of liberation is guaranteed. Chapter 17, Krishna is in explaining the glory and the importance and the purpose of Om Tat Sat. In describing them, Krishna is saying, Yagna Tapa Kriya, Dana Kriyascha Vivida, Kriyante Moksha Kankshibhihi. By uttering the word Tat in Om Tat Sat and performing this Yagna, Dana, and Tapa, he is sure to attain the Supreme and become free from material entanglement. Moksha Kankshibhi is freed from material entanglement by uttering the word Tat. Then in chapter 18, so many places, Krishna says, Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. You will come to the safe zone of, when you come to the safe zone of Bhakti, there is no more danger. Bhakti is a safe zone. And again, Krishna says, Man Manava Mad Bhakto, Satyam Te Pratijane Priyosime. If you become my devotee, Krishna is saying, truly Satyam, truly Pratijane. My promise to you is you will come back to me. I will take you back to my world. Then finally Krishna said, Mashuchaha. Do not fear. Sarva dharman parityajya. Completely surrender unto me. I will take care of the rest. Ma shuchaha. Do not fear. So, like this, you can see the entire Gita is a book of assurance, book of confidence. It is not simply some empty statements. And we saw five, six examples. There are many more throughout Bhagavatam how Krishna has actually given protection, not just words. So, therefore, we simply have to become Krishna conscious and wait for the direction of the Lord. And in the meanwhile, execute our daily devotional activities onto the lotus feet of Krishna. That's all. The rest Krishna will take care. Stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.